Saturday night and the lights go hot. SGPN on the mic at the Derby spot. Virtual Kentucky running live on the stream. 3 big races, 30 large in the dream.
10 grand heat after heat in the glow. Bed by flying down the line in the show. Paraquine pumping like a backstage drum. Photo finish live where the legends come.
Turn it up, let the numbers ride, and hear the chat roar. Worlds collide. SGPN run the show tonight. Derby in the clouds under neon light. Foes eve tomorrow, new hopes rise. Monday brings the babies with fire in their eyes. Stack those bets, let the thunder roll. Every heartbeat locked in one big goal. SGPN, let the wild run free. Paraquine in my hand, feel the energy.
Hosts crack jokes while the gates line up. Crowds going crazy as they fill that cup. Digital dirt fly when the bell hits loud. Every pick riding on the voice of the crowd.
Horses dig in when the backstretch calls. 100,000 dreams in those pixel walls. Stretch run hits and the chat explodes. SGPN driving down the final road.
Turn it up, let the
And we are off for episode 30 already. Scott of Run for the Roses here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I am Ryan Kramer, one half of the duo that makes up SGPN Stables. The other half, well, he's, of course, the breeder of the season 29 Kentucky Derby champion and the chief horse officer at SGPN Stables, Mr. Scott Bowser. Scott, I will say, not a country music guy, but that music that we've been kicking the show off is catchy. Shout out to Radio Web 3. Why am I blanking on a stable name, Bowser? Help me out. Oh my goodness, I'll dig it up. That's embarrassing on my part. Unsolicited, created some banger music for us, so hope you enjoy it too.
And, man,
anyway,
look
how
at
you doing, Scott?
Good. We're working hard here on the stable. Look at it. Working so hard we haven't even slept or changed since last week's episode.
That might be interesting that we're in the same spot, but yes, we are putting one in the can. I will be off the grid, celebrating, touching grass or dirt in the desert. Me and the family go out to Mojave every Thanksgiving. Kind of a weird family tradition. Always just the time that we are all able to kind of get away. And yes, I do. My favorite part about it, one of my favorite parts, Scott, is having a bunch of bets on Thanksgiving Day football and returning to find out what happened. What about you? What are you up to for Thanksgiving, since we are pre-recording this episode?
Not much. Just hanging here at the pad, watching football, making a spread. I'll actually be doing some shopping later tomorrow to pick up. Yeah, I usually, me and Jen do the turkey and all the fixins and sides and all that, and some pies. We get a really good deal on pies from the bakery at her work. But then, what I always like doing is doing like a good charcuterie, we're doing a real good appetizer platter to go before the meal, kind of thing. So.
Oh, that sounds nice. I mean, as an Italian American who used to spend Thanksgiving with Italian Americans, you love a multi-course situation.
Yeah.
I just got a good idea, Bowser. Since people are listening to this on Fat Day or whatever your business calls this, Friday after Thanksgiving,
Black Friday.
Black Friday is another good thing to call it. If you we should post a picture on X and tag either me, Scott, at SGPN Stables, and if your spread looks good to us, we will give you a horse. We will give you
for sure, dude. I love this. Yeah,
we will give you an S.
We'll give you a fucking horse for You're
something we can all be thankful for is a sweet digital pony. But yeah, so we are in the time machine right now. We are in the past talking about the future. but it's breed week, so we figured this would be a great episode to get pre-recorded so we can enjoy our festivities. And coming off a Foles Day where we picked up 4 more SS minuses, coming off a Foles Day where the game picked up 4 SS, well, 4 on the right dirt side, 1 on the left dirt side, which is pretty intriguing for us left turn maniacs. And yeah, so kind of a couple things we thought we would get into on the episode. One, we thought it would be a good conversation piece to reveal one of our recently retired SS minus fillies, talk you through basically some strategy, how we're going to handle this, what we're looking to do, maybe some more macro breeding strategy. And then we're also going to show you a reveal of a claimer we picked up on the left turf side that hopefully can paint a picture of another way that you can kind of get into the game, play it on the cheap level, but still have kind of a strategy to build pieces to help you kind of get up to the big boy races. And then after that, we'll talk, like I said, we'll talk a little bit about the strategy in general of what we plan on doing with these horses and why. And then we'll roll out some of our big meaty studs. Show you a little bit of what we have in the stable. We had a horse last season sell a number of covers. That's an SS minus, something that you might be interested in. We also have a slew of other winners now in there, S plus and above. Certainly something that you might want to look into, depending on what you're trying to breed. So yeah, with that, Scott, let's pull up.
Let's pull up Duchessa.
You'd like to say on the top before we get started with Duchessa, which, as I pull it up, maybe you can explain to everyone where the name came from, because you do have.
That would be like a duchess, of like a royal title, but for in Italian, So it's we class it up a little over here. We don't just speak British, as a lot of commoners do. We like to incorporate different languages and whatnot. So,
well, I actually
kings, Ryan. I don't know if you know that we're basically royalty over here.
Well, I came with some trivia.
Okay.
Because there are actually 4 locations in the world. There's 1 location in the world named Duchessa.
Really?
It's Duchessa Landing. Where do you think it is?
I don't know. It's probably some weird place like in the Balkans or something, but like
Oklahoma.
Whoa.
It was a settlement in Oklahoma. I don't know. Very interesting. I Googled it to make sure I knew what it was before we set up the.
That's good stuff. See, that's why people tune into the show to get
that's
this.
What I'm talking about. All right.
Yeah.
So
bam, what stands out right away? Well, it's that red. It's that red, baby. We love the red. Because remember, we used to get orange. It looked so gross. No, not like this fucking red. That's a triple S minus, dude, on the start. So if we want to go back and look at that breed report to see how we got to that could be interesting.
Let's do.
She also has the SS heart, but other than that, notice she doesn't have any actual SS minus traits.
Yeah, I mean, this was. I guess you could say the reveal was a little bit all over the place. What was the final tally on these subgrades?
Oh shit! What are you gonna put me on the spot?
Yeah, real-time math with Scott Bowser.
-1.
Yeah, that's wild. All right, I didn't do my. This is not loading. Let me.
So yeah, we got it at a Mafia night, which is a great name, and a night in Paris, right? So he had that 5.5 stars that we're looking for when we want to breed over here with these SS minuses. Because look, we get them at a discount because people want the full stars. We're okay with it, especially if you look at the one we ended up breeding with, because she has good stars in that regard. On the soft side, we go back up to she has the 2-star soft. If you go back up, I mean, the dad has it's a pretty damn good profile for an SS minus here, right? He won over 100K in earnings, but dude, with the SS heart and then pretty much flat S plus SS minus across the rest of the way, that's pretty good because, like, as we keep seeing, a lot of these SS minuses do have like some weird submerged grade kind of thing, and so we're still sorting the kinks out over here is what's obviously happening. So I think that's part of the reason why over the last few seasons, so we keep seeing S pluses still being competitive because they're flattened out more, maybe, and like,
yeah, they're just getting stronger. I think you're like, we always talk about filling up the cup. If imagine it's a cup of water, and right now for SS minuses, maybe that cup is half full. And for S pluses, maybe that cup is 80% full, because we're even seeing it at the S minus and S level. We continue to see better versions of S's, better, so to your point, I think that it's a curve, it's a strength curve.
Great example of that is last season in Left Turf. We had that horse that was an S horse that was able to compete in Harbor Classic stuff.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
But yeah, this is a really interesting obviously this is more of a sprinter profile, right? I mean, when just looking at the breed report, that's one thing we can guess. And if you look at it, it's like, okay, well, it has potential to hit a crazy start in Heart outlier, and it did. That's exactly what it gave us here, right? Like, and really it went on the extreme side of the start outlier.
So we got the outlier in start for sure. We got the top end of the median in Heart for sure, right? Like,
yeah.
And that's what's always interesting about looking at the breed report in hindsight, is to see like where did it land? But because even speed fit into the median just fine. Stamina
was right there at the
fit
median.
into the median just fine. Finish slightly up, but kind of in the median right there. And then temper with S plus slightly up, but kind of in the median. So what does it show you? We really just got one thing that popped, right? Like, really,
and it popped massively.
it was one massive pop, but then everything else kind of came in on schedule. Go
ahead.
I was just going to say, everything else coming in on schedule with one pop. And what's even interesting about that start pop is skewed to the left, and so we really got an outlier on the long tail side, which I would say is not really, but kind of even more of an outlier. So what were you going to say?
Well, no, it's just because now when we talk about the breeding strategy for this horse, right? And what do we? So the obvious thing, right, is to fill in that middle stuff, right? Fill in the stuff that kind of went into the median, because if we can get some outliers in that speed through finish range, just like let's not worry about S plus temper, right? S plus temper is good. We're cool with that right now. We could just fill in that other stuff, bro. Dude, this is going to produce some very nice horses for us, and like, because we have such a high ceiling on the start, I think we can hit our first SS even, if not from this one directly, but one of its fillies, if not.
Well, I mean, to your point, it's not that in some ways we don't really care about the stamina punt either. And so it's like,
no, we do. We actually do here, because
do we?
Yes, we do, because we want to still have a complete horse profile. We see these things go all over the place. Stamina is still important, even on a sprinter. Okay,
I'm just saying we're not going to worry about it. Like we'll almost treat it like
actually what I'm focusing on to breed
no way.
This bloodline. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, explain.
Well, because like I'm sitting here saying right now, if we can really improve the speed through finish, because we know there's horses out there that have that speed, stamina, finish profile, we can that gives us our best shot of hitting an SS here. Okay. It's the lowest trait. The higher we improve the lowest trait on this, the higher we improve the overall high end. I mean, it's pretty simple, really. Like, because like I'm not worried about putting any more start into this bloodline at this point. If anything, it's just like, don't even worry about that. And it gives us a chance to breed with horses that maybe have weak start that we would have overlooked before, but are as high on everything else. And now those are in play for us.
So I know you've probably already done the work, but do you have an?
I'm not saying that we need to only focus on like SS plus star or something like that, or stamina, but like, yeah, like that speed through finish range right there. That's where we're going to be able to hit SS off this.
And just, I should have asked this first, but maybe an obvious question to me, But this has now taken the mantle as our top mare in the stable,
Yeah.
correct?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I mean, but think about it like this: if we just get that stamina up to S plus and the speed and the finish up to SS minus, we're looking really close to an SS overall. You know, with a couple right little
What's
tweaks here.
crazy about Duchessa is that we up until we retired her, the highest start grades in our stable were SS minus. We had 2 horses, Commandant, Dutch Auction, both SS minus start. Boom, SSS minus start. Insane. Also, Heart. We only had horses with SS minus Heart up until we retired Duchessa. She also became our first SS Heart in the stable.
Yeah,
For females. No, actually, that's for all horses.
you know, but look at that. Still didn't perform on the track. And so that's part of the reason too why we want to upgrade the stamina there. You know, we want a more balanced, complete horse. You know, if this horse would have dominated, it'd be a different story where we'd go, okay, this shape works, right? But now we know we need to improve that other stuff.
So what I know you've probably already done some of the work, but is there a horse you have your eyes on?
Yeah, so I've done like 7 breed. I did like 6, 7 breed reports probably on this one. There was only a handful really that I felt fit the bill of what we wanted to do here, right? And so yeah, it was Starlane, I believe, is the name of the horse.
Oh, this is the one we played. We were playing the game where you sent me a bunch of breed reports, and I told you which one I liked the most.
Yeah. And this was actually the one I liked the most too. And ironically, it was the cheapest one. So price wasn't even really in consideration for this one. It was getting the right match. But if you look at it, I think it gives us potentially, and you always kind of got to make sacrifices on these when you're breeding at this level. I realize, like, just like I was talking about on the last episode with these first SS horses, like they're gonna have to make weird sacrifices in how they breed them at first. But okay, so this is a wild breed report, right? Because we got so it's got such a high floor in the start. Let's try and get that speed stamina. Once you see it like this, right? It makes sense to try and lift that cap, because if we get anywhere near on there, we're starting to look like an SS horse, right? Like big time.
Well, I mean, this horse has massive ceiling, obviously. I mean, that's part of why I thought the breed report was great. But yeah, I mean, look, we can realistically get SS at everything. Like we can reach SS at everything.
And
so
we can hit triple S in a couple things.
Yeah, that is not like that's
Heart is triple S minus is in the range on Heart there. So I mean,
so in like to me, when like looking at this horse, it's like, man, I cannot wait to. It's like what 4 months away, but I really want to.
It can also get a finish. You know, we want to play the other side of it too. Like that's in the range of outcomes. But if we're looking at the straight moonshot, right? This is it. And there were other horses I thought that might be able to flatten it out better, but I thought this gave us, because he had good start and Heart too, right? And so I was like, well, let's just keep doubling down on that Heart. I wasn't so much worried about the start, but I think we've talked about this before in like older episodes of like start seems like the easiest trait to come by in the game.
Yeah.
And so
definitely.
And so and we're seeing it here now where we have so let's just try and get those three, the other three there, the speed, stamina, finish up. And all of a sudden, this bloodline has crazy potential. But another thing is, if you look at the stars on this report, that's really interesting for us, right? Because it's at worst, we're getting a 2.5. Okay. But look at the soft to firm range. We could get a 0.5 star firm up to 2 star soft.
Yeah, no, it's got all sorts of interesting.
So we talk about wanting to do we talked about it, and it's like, let's try and do a high variance breed on this one. Well, this is it, right?
Yeah, let me actually pop it into the side.
We're not necessarily playing it safe. We could end up getting a dud on this one very easily. but it's so worth it for us to play the percentages on this. And I think we still get an SS minus regardless, right? Like the S plus is probably the floor that we might hit like 15% of the time breeding these two or something like that. So I feel pretty good at 85% chance of us hitting an SS minus or above.
And just putting it in this view, I feel like sometimes visual learners, but like essentially the main, like the just to reiterate, like the key that you're attacking here are those we're trying to fill out those left dirt stars.
Yeah, we want to fill out those stars, and we want to fill out the grades, right?
But like from a filtering perspective, you overlooked a lot of better subgrade profiles, maybe even to like be picky around stars, correct?
Pretty much, yeah. And it was mostly like we're here at the top. If the match is there with this, let's prioritize that, right? As we're breeding towards the top. Because at the worst case scenario, I feel is like, look, she brings up his weakness, which is finish. He brings up her weakness, which is stamina. So if we can just get that like S plus flat there, but we get the up roll and speed, I think, and also we see there's a lot of variance when breeding temper. The fact that we have such a good temper floor with these two parents really is a good thing, like that with the stars right there could give you a very consistent horse, which we know is very nice to have, as you can kind of just run it out there and it's going to give you hell in these certain spots and hit podiums, right? So
yeah, I'm excited for this one. I mean, just in general, it's anytime you have something like this where it's like, if we do the rule of 20% of these are going to be killers, hopefully. Yeah, just excited. Always excited to have horses like this. New subtrade. I mean, the red just really pops off the screen too.
Yeah, and that's like why now it's like this one, this stud happened to have some start, but I wasn't worried about that at all. It was more worried about we have these other 3 grades that we're trying to upgrade, and so if we can find a good match with stars that hit 2 out of those 2 or 3 out of 3 on that, let's roll the dice there, like.
And then just kind of one other thing, because I think if you're new to the game, and if you are new to the game or you're thinking about signing up, use the code SGPN, get in a turf club, free rolls, breeding discounts, giveaways, cheap horses to buy. You get access to all of it. But I mean, we're essentially saving. I forget. Did you say the other horse we were looking at was 10K, correct?
There's a 10K, a 12K, and a 4K. Yeah.
And so, obviously there's a reason why the other horses are being priced as such. Most probably it has something to do with their performance on the track. Maybe not. Maybe they just have a better subgrade profile.
And this is also like when you talk about like we're progressing down the line. These are both 3-year-olds on this breed too. So we're trying to get deeper down into that rabbit hole where we've popped more potential traits into these bloodlines, kind of thing. But yeah, like another reason why we want to worry about stamina on her, just like you would want to worry about getting finish into this guy, is because if you stop worrying about it, then you create these bad floors, right? Where you start, then you end up getting an S minus A plus on a bad roll between the two because you weren't worried about lifting that up. So we want to avoid hitting a rock bottom scenario there or something like that.
Yeah, and I think it's just a good lesson to, I think winning on track is just it's just confirmation that the attributes are put together the right way. And so from a breeding perspective, that doesn't necessarily matter all the time. Now, the winning gene, we still haven't really circled back to have that conversation. But the idea of the winning gene, like we've discussed, it's like a combination of the person racing the horse, like the training aspect, but also the ingredients being correct. And so, I think, is it possible that the winning gene exists in a horse that didn't perform well? Yes, I think for a number of reasons. And oftentimes in this game, it's because probably they weren't run well.
And not only that, like we can look at different things with that, and when you start breaking down why did this horse win versus this horse win, a lot of it's the time and space, right? Where this horse in season 25 wouldn't have a chance in season 35, but this season horse in season 35 could have a chance in season 40, based on how things break out. And so there's really so many variables here, but the stars is like, we keep circling back to that, but I think that's where a lot of the winning gene stuff comes from, right? Is we see so much over and over again, these great winners have the stars. And what do their kids that win do too? Well, they passed on the stars to them, and so we see this over and over and over again. So
clear correlation between, and again, especially once you get to a saturated grade or a saturated bucket, like, so it's very difficult or very rare to find low stars in like, you can even flip it around. It's rare to find low stars in champions that aren't on the, like, in a new grade or so far beyond everyone in subgrades. And I've been thinking about this a little bit, Bowser. I haven't brought this up to you, but it almost seems like it could be some sort of like multiplier. Like the closer you get to 3 stars, the more of the multiplier you get to access on your traits, basically.
No, totally. And it can also kind of be, the multiplier could also be in play with the weather roll, depending on like your condition preference. So
yeah,
a 2.5 is better at this, a 1.5 is better at like.
Yeah, and then I still wonder. You brought up a great point, but do the horses that turn more, do the stars matter more on the left and the right?
Yeah. The left and right stars. It would make sense that they would be more important in a stayer than a sprinter, right? Because they're turning more, especially on turf. You like a left turn. You think about it.
It made sense to me, Bowser.
Turns more than any other horse, or a right turf stayer. They're turning more, making more turns on the track. Like,
All right, let's so we have a second reveal we wanted to show off.
Yeah, but this one, I mean, I feel like if we just kind of just not worry about start so much, this one happened to have it, great. We'll keep it into this one. But as we go forward with this one, let's just try and fill out that speed, stamina, finish. Let's raise the floor there, because the more we raise the floor there, because can you imagine if like that was all like SS minus traits right there? All of a sudden, that thing's a fucking monster. So that's what we're trying to get to.
All right, so we also wanted to show off one of our turf reveals, and this is more because of how we acquired the horse. So I'll let Bowser was at the command center for this one, so I'll let Bowser explain.
So this was a claimer I picked up in the Claim to Fame series. I saw there was I believe like a 1.8K Claim to Fame race, and I noticed this is a turn of time where a lot of the big stables are talking about this thing, and I was like, let's just peek our head in there in this left turf one about to start, see what's in there. And what caught my eye was that this was out of Tombstone, one of the best, the best stable in the game right now. So, when they're putting stuff in these claimers like this, to me, that in a cheap claimer, that's such a good opportunity for a stable like us, where, I think right now we're in the early 30s. We broke the top 25 last season, but we put this into like perspective, he's Ohio State and we're what, like Arizona State or something like that, like a fringe top 25 program kind of thing.
We're Virginia Tech, just hiring James Franklin.
But we're like that fringe top 25 stable, and anytime we can acquire the spare parts in these claimers from these guys at the top, I think it's always a good move for us. Now, what I liked about it for us was this was a female, obviously. What we talked about this last week was just part of the way we can close the gap with these bigger stables is finding their spare parts and trying to improve on these bloodlines, the best we can on the stud market. So this is a female S+ with 7 stars out of the number one stable in the game. And so now when we got the reveal here, sure, we didn't quite get what we it's a 0 the hard way, as Kramer would say, right?
Yeah, so +1 on the start, +2 on the finish, and then -1 on speed, stamina, and temper.
And so, but this horse, I think, immediately went in our stud barn, breed barn, and immediately became, according to a breed score metric I use, a preference and breed kind of subgrade combined thing, basically became our best LTS option in the barn overnight.
Yeah.
And this is probably going to give us our chance. And so what I'm doing at LTS right now is, because we just hit last season on those 2 LTS studs, right? The SS minus ones that we got. And one of them has a pretty damn good star profile too. So for me, the key is get these kind of females, right? That we can breed with them, and we can, like some of the females we have in place right now, let's breed those with some of the major champions from a few seasons ago that have shitloads of stars, so we can start funneling that pedigree and stars up into these SS minus studs that we already have. Because if you look at these guys, they're eligible for almost every female in our stable pretty much, right? With the exception of the one who came from a horse that we've had longer, so she has more mares in our kind of thing. You know, there's more.
Let me pull up those studs you're talking about.
Yeah, it's Mulazim and Mushir. Yeah, like, dude. So yeah, I'm stoked on both these horses, dude. First off, like, big.
This is huge. I mean, the fact that, you know, you see how much there's been a couple more $1,000 sales this week on the left turf side. So yeah, it's certainly nice for us to have some options in house.
Yeah, so this one comes from Bloomin' Onion and Talent for Mambo. We got a decent star roll for this. It's not the best, but dude, for an SS minus, like, that's competitive, right? That profile, like, and we can pump left turf into that, dude. Like, we're not so worried about the soft stars on this, you know. We're just focusing on those left and turf stars. So yeah, that's something that, as we find these major champions we can breed into other females we have, those females now are going to be really nice, attractive options, I think, for this horse.
This horse also has a decent amount of firm, whether it right turf or left turf, in its background, which is very interesting in terms of, like you were just saying, flipping it over. And then let me pull up Mushir. Great coat on this one.
Yeah, I love this horse, dude. The 3-2-1 profile, especially nice on left turf, because once again, we get the right firm stars in some of our LTF. You know, we'll breed him with our LTF females that we have. Like,
well, and once again, we have LDF in the back in the history of this horse, and a little LDS.
And this is why we have some of this amazing like what we call breed permissiveness, you know, the blood permissiveness with these horses, because they have so much kind of Frankensteining in the background, but it's sorted itself out by now, right?
Yeah,
these are left turf horses. We're not in the early stages of it where it's really awkward, like the Kenobi horse there from our boy the Commish, or some of these other ones where sometimes you kind of, like, right now we're doing it. We're in the streets in left turf firm, and it's one of those things where it can be kind of rough when you're the first guys at the party, but you want to be nice and lubed up for when that thing gets full going.
Yeah, and to your point again, like, we just have the existence of these two guys in our stable. The fact that we know even if they don't run well, we can start breeding them at age 3. Like, this is going to upgrade our left turf by a wide margin.
Yeah, the fact that they come from 2 different moms, 2 different bloodlines, basically. So I believe most of their kids should be able to commingle too. And so
that's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So do you remember the name of the horse that Gift of a Lifetime is going to be bred with?
I have it right here on the sheet. Let me just
I'll pull up the side by side.
So, Gift of a Lifetime, I have planned for, it's the Italian Wine Racing Nightshade, former Harbor Classic horse, major champion. We also, there's another one I wanted to bring up too, Young Padawan.
Wait, hold on. Who are we bringing this?
It's just go IWR.
Oh, IWR.
Yeah. So, and then see how he does this name, raise names. So then you got to go Night. Just put, and yeah. That's it right there, Nightshade. So what do we see here, right? They both have the start. She's got the finish, he's got the stamina. He also improves her speed, you know, like, they're lifting each other up in a lot of ways here. Okay. That's one thing that we want to pay attention to, where some people want to double down on strengths. I personally would rather flatten out, right? Because that's how we're going to hit those outliers where we hit the best of both sides. And that's what we want to do. This horse, once again, look at this potential star profile. At minimum, we're looking at a 2.5 with something on the soft side, right? Like in that 1 to 2 range. So I mean, very good star profile for us. We're looking at basically a minimum 6-star horse, 6 to 7-star horse, if not 8-star horse. That could potentially be a flat SS minus looking down the curve, like.
Well, I mean, seeing that we have ceiling of SS for 4 of these, and finish is like a tight S plus probably, and temper up.
I would say that finish is probably more S plus to the SS minus. Like you see, we talked about that tail.
Yeah,
the tail's up into SS minus for sure there. So
yeah, this is one of those horses where it's like if we just get one good up roll mixed with everything else kind of coming in as schedule, and this is going to be a nice piece for us.
Go back to that stud, because I forget which of the Harbor majors he won, but he did some interesting stuff with that, if I recall correctly. Because I like to look into these studs' racing careers. I think that it's still important to look at. But so he won the straight up the Gallop. No, he finished 11th.
No, this is the High Court.
The High Court. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no. So he won the Gallop there.
Yep, won the Gallop on a soft track. And let's see what else. This was, you can tell he was going for the benchmark series that season.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is every race. This horse is finishing top 3 or 4.
So, but this is what I was talking about when I said, like, hey, we're either kind of going for SS minus in the breed flat out, or we're doing stuff like this where SS minus is definitely on the table between these two horses, but we're pumping in major winning pedigree with stars no matter what. And that'll be whether it comes out male or female, that's just good to have for fun, for creating more horses to funnel up to these SS minuses that we have now. So
yeah, no, I like this one.
And then Young Padawan is one that we just retired.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah, shout out to the Star Wars prequels, who used to be the worst Star Wars movies, and then they decided to start making more Star Wars movies, and so now they don't suck as bad anymore. It's a good thing, lesson in life, kids, is you do something that sucks for its time and place, but if you just wait long enough suckier stuff will come along, and people will forget about how bad you sucked. So
yeah, keep trying.
Keep trying, But Young Padawan, okay, I love this profile, right? Dude, this horse has 7 stars. Look, it's got the weak temper, but if we just focus on everything else, dude, this potentially is a great little blank canvas for us to breed into, right?
Well, you love the speed stamina combo for sure.
But and normally I try and upgrade the breed score. I didn't for her breed I want to do. You know why? Because this horse is about to die, and I recommend everybody get in on him while he's still alive, because I think you're going to want to keep his blood alive throughout your stable. And that is Charlie Chaplin, maybe the greatest horse in the history of this game. Horse that qualified for the Kentucky Derby and won both the Harbor Classic and the Artemis Cup right turf major. So, I mean, just looking at this horse's racing career, we've talked about it before on here, just an amazing horse. And shout out to Zedge, dude, taking us to the ore mines. But man, he's still the owner of Charlie Chaplin, which is, dude, the fucking greatest horse in the history of this game. Like, but look at his grades weren't that good. He did this a while ago, right? The grades don't necessarily pop comparatively, but he's still improved. If the winning gene's there, this fucker has it. And with his 3-3-1 stars, why wouldn't we do this out on his way out with a horse like Young Padawan, right? Where she didn't do much for us on the track, but but she's got maybe a better subgrade reveal, but he's got better stars in this pedigree. This is an interesting approach, and I'm excited to see how this comes out for us.
So yeah, it of course it's a left turf horse. It qualified and finished in 19th in the Derby. It qualified and finished first in the Artemis Cup, the right turf major, and it qualified and finished first in the Harvard Classic, the left turf major.
Going
So
wire to wire too and dominating. I've watched this race it did in that one.
it so it qualified for 3 of the majors, which is just it's why I mean, and right dirt was the most competitive, which is why you don't see right dirt in there. To your point on the grades and everything, this was back in season 15, so it was a bit ago. That's why, like that, this was a pretty strong grade profile at that point. A +1 S plus at that point in the game, I think, was a pretty strong horse,
Yeah.
especially with the star profile.
But with a horse like us, with that's a more modern horse from us, right? That has maybe a little bit better star profile, but didn't have the pedigree and whatnot. Why? Once again, why wouldn't we do this? Because this is potentially giving us an 8-star horse with the great, the blood of the greatest horse in the history of the game. We might not get the immediate results off those kids, but the grandkids could be something special.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this too often where the blood of a good champion takes a generation, but the grandkids start showing you something.
Yeah, and so look at this breed report here. Nice boxed in on the stamina. I mean, that's pretty much an SS minus stamina, right? Like,
I would guess so, yeah.
and so, but what can we possibly hit? We could possibly hit SS on start, speed, finish, and heart big time, right? And so, even if we just kind of hit that median on the temper, we hit a couple up rolls here. This is a great horse. Regardless, it's a piece I want to have in the barn, right? With the stars and everything. So
I think it'd be funny if someone pulled together a clip of us just saying, and if we hit the up roll, it's like standing at the craps table. Let's go, yo 11. Yeah, this is good shit. And in general, I think you've been pretty good about making sure that we bring blood from champions into the stable. And I would say the one thing about the game that I would have had zero awareness to, well, now I would, but in the beginning, was just the idea of how quickly you can be muddled with your own blood. And
Yeah.
the idea of bringing stuff in, and like I said, doing a pretty good job of like selectively bringing these champions in. I mean, I think our strategy of waiting for that stuff to go onto the clearance rack because it's a little older has been fair. And honestly, like again, we have not had success buying like the hot item on sale.
No, we haven't. And so we've had better success doing it off the clearance rack. And a big part of that too is like one thing with these like old champions is they're big reason why they're old champions. Once again, they had stars. The stars still translate seasons later, and so that's something to really pay attention to. But yeah, it's like one of those things where an underwhelming bloodline from now, even though it's kind of better than that older bloodline, well, let's combine that, because if we get the best of both worlds there, we might really be onto something. But even if not, if we just get I'm just hoping we get a filly out of this one, right? We get a good Charlie Chaplin daughter to find the next champion to breed this bloodline with.
Yeah. All right. So what? Let's see. Yeah, that was a good breakdown. I will say really the only thing that I've gotten feedback from people on is they either say like nice job, good shit, which appreciated, thank you, but people enjoy when we just talk about breeding. I think it's one of those things, like anything, when you get really into a game and there's not a ton of information. And
yeah, because it's such an ambiguous thing. And I was thinking about this morning actually, where it's really a combination of art and science, I would say, right? Like there's a science to it of, okay, we have this data of these horses producing this, doing this, having this on track performance, all that. But then there's this art of, well, if like, okay, let's just say one horse has better left stars, one horse has better turf stars, and one has better these traits, one has better these traits, and we're just hoping it all works out, kind of thing, and that's kind of the art of it, of like, we're trying to paint this picture, we're trying to move this needle. We're trying to move the needle all the way to the right. We're trying to go all the way to SS, triple S plus. That's the end goal. But how do we get there? It's like there's such a long road, and it's like,
We're
well,
drawn shapes. I think that's the thing, right? Like
yeah, it's geometry in a lot of ways, right?
like the shapes of the different champions. I mean, we've talked about this before, and I happen to but yeah, I mean,
look
just
for season 15, Charlie Chaplin had the perfect shape, right? Where he had that elite stamina that allowed him to just outrun people, and he still had the finishing heart to fucking get up and over it. But like, he's still a -2S+ if you're looking into the subgrades. Like, okay, if you look at it from that perspective, it's not the most impressive thing, but it's the time and place. And if we can get her speed into this bloodline, all of a sudden, whoa, okay,
yeah, I like the idea of calling it drawn shapes. Looking for shapes. All right, let's should we finish up the show with some reminders on who people can breed with?
Yeah.
Who would you like to start with, sir?
Well, let's go with Commandant. He was the big addition to the stable last time. He produced us an SS- right out the gate, and he did for a lot of other people. This is the most studs we've ever sold. So definitely choose something having a higher graded horse with stars, right? It's going to sell more. But yeah, okay. The only S that he produced, by the way, was I don't know if you want to talk about that one.
Is this the one that I made you do?
Yeah.
Damn it. God. So the way that our breeding season usually happens is Bowser prepares like the premium stuff, all the stuff that we want, like the critical core breeding strategy for the season.
And a big part of what I'm doing there with a lot of this times too is making sure we're not going back to the same one too much now. We're not doing this too much because, like Kramer said, it's like you got to think about this stuff, because in a few seasons you can really get muddled down with everybody being related. Everybody in your stable is a second cousin or whatever,
There's a good joke about it being a Theo Vaughn block par family reunion or something in there. So Bowser puts all that together, and then we bang out the initial breed, and then like throughout the next week and a half, it's a lot of, oh yeah, we want to do this, we want to do that, and usually once a season, I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And this season it was Commandant, a great gallop runner for us.
I mean, in fact, we did a whole episode. We did a segment on this on the episode where I lay down the case of why this might not work. Why, it's like going back. You can only go so far back to the well. I mean, because we just talked about going back to the well on Charlie Chaplin, but it's like, well, how far back to the well you go? He's still got pretty good breed scores and whatnot. He's still got. There's still something to work with there. Whereas if we go back too far, all of a sudden we start getting these horses where it's like, all right, am I not now? So this is a pretty wide range on the breed report, right? Like pretty much everything going from like A+ up to, with the exception of the finish, but like A+ up to like SS almost on every, so
this is where I'm telling you, like, this is where we just lost the game. Like we somehow we had a team, they were winning by 10 points. They've been dominating the whole game, but they're only up 10 points with like 2 minutes to go, and the other team backdoors, and we lose our +3.5. This is where I'm telling you, like, oh man, we got to run this back. We got a raw deal on this one. How did we only get an S?
I mean, the stars weren't. That was almost the thing that kind of concerned me on this one, because this one kind of needed elite stars to do it.
Yeah.
Didn't get it, and the report doesn't tell us that it's too likely, really, to have all three of those go your way, pretty much.
Anyway,
this could be an interesting breeder still. I'll say this before we attempt to run this back. Maybe we see how this one does on the track, because this one could now end up being a hell of an allowance runner. If it's got some weighted trades, it could be a great allowance runner. But yeah, it's not anything what we were looking for. Kind of want to save those Commandant pops for potential SS minuses.
But coming back to the overarching point, there were a total of
6. Yeah.
6 SS minuses, 6 S pluses, and 1 S. So
and let's throw that S out of it, because we only bred
that was us.
Yeah, that was us. But we only bred 2 other ones with them. We are running back Dixie Belle with him, because I think there's an SS minus coming out of that pairing for sure. We just need to get, and that S plus has great stars. And so I think that we get those stars on an SS minus, we're going to feel wonderful about ourselves. Right
now, let's pull up that Dixie Bell breed report because, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. I can see why you think an SS minus is coming out.
Yeah, like it's a good star profile too for the most part. So it's like this combination has potential to really pump something out for us. I'm happy with that S plus right away. That should be a decent barometer for us, but we're definitely running back this combo right away.
Well, and it could be it wouldn't surprise me if it could be a strong S plus. So
I agree. And then the other one, we already talked about the Turning Stone one on last week's episode.
So does seeing this type of output change your opinion about the horse, about a 50-50 hit rate of SS minus?
No, this is great for what we want. I think for this particular horse, for us, we want to make sure we're doing stuff with the right star match for him. For us,
basically 3 left. We really want
to get 3 left with them. We were mostly doing 2.5 stuff, which is fine for right now. But yeah, if we can get more 3 left with them, and ideally a 3 left like S plus that has great speed, that could be something that really hits out of this bloodline. But
so then the follow-up question would be,
well, and also go down because there's the one that there's the right turn. Let's take a look at that horse. Think of the right turn guy that bred with him. Right there, full of snatch.
Great movie by Guy Ritchie. Great movie.
Yeah. I might watch that later. Actually, I'm trying to think of something.
So curious to know what he was. Obviously looking for something less than 3 on the right side. I can see that the dirt,
and I think he wanted the extreme firm, which we had
3 and 3. Yeah, I think interesting. I wonder if there'll be more like this because this almost kind of matches what you were strategizing with the turf firm stuff that we were up to.
Yeah. So this could be just an idea of wanting to get some different blood in the mix.
Yeah, interesting. I almost want to know if this is like some huge stable. Not really. So this is just some dude YOLOing.
Dude with 1 career win.
Okay. Maybe just a watcher of the show.
If you did this horse, reach out to us. We'll send you a free one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also now I want to follow this horse.
Yeah, no.
You know what? Ian/team, we should be able to like horses that aren't in our stable. So we can watch them. That would actually be a great feature. I'm going to let Bryce know as well, but yeah, it'd be fun to be able to watch them, see how they do. All right. So basically the TLDR here is Commandant, probably our best stud.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a real weakness, and I think that goes a long way, because as you get closer to the top, a lot of them start having some weird weakness, that you're like, you have to kind of swallow if you want to take the next step, kind of thing. But he doesn't have a true weakness, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, you can see too, like it's not a horse that kind of relied on big wins. I mean, it kind of was grinding the entire time. Obviously, finishing third in the
finished third off preference, and where his preference stars are one of his better attributes about him. The fact that he was able to still do well in a major off preference, I think that goes a long way here.
I generally chalk that up to having really strong hearts. So I'd imagine the heart's closer to SS minus.
Yeah, this is another one where you see that when you have that stamina finish heart combo, even though he was a gallop runner, right? That stuff showed up, man. Like,
well, because if anything, I would expect, and just in general, I'll pull up the charts here, but I mean, in general, it was, obviously maybe the flaw was I should have run longer. I kind of, once we saw a good performance in the gallop ranges.
That's a classic thing. I was like, how often are we on a really great horse? Is it you find a spot where it's doing okay, so you keep it there, and where it's actually maybe better somewhere else? Like, that could be a possibility here. We talk about that with the winning gene stuff, but I mean, like sometimes that just moving a furlong or two over can be, completely different.
Yeah,
And also could be a relative to your competition that season. Or let's just say it's a super strong stayer season, and so maybe you have a horse that would just be better off in gallops for that run. There's a clearer path.
I have been trying to be better about not falling into the trap of like not wanting to go across the barrier. Like during qualify, we've had a couple of horses recently where they might like 6-7, like not to be one of those children, but like on the edge there, or 9-10.
9-10 too. Yeah.
Where I've been more willing to just jump over the aisle and check it out. Like
because if we can get points in both, and that brings up that's a great point, because if we see how we get these bad weather rolls over and over again in these in these majors, well, maybe that's not as big of a deal for us, right? If we've qualified it into two different ones. And now we have two different weather rolls that can play for.
Also, there's kind of this, it's like a GM trading picks to draft the quarterback. If you're right, you're going to qualify anyway. If the horse is good and you go check it out and it's good, you're going to be able to get the points. And so like that was the main thing that got me over the hump, was like, we had a horse that I think started qualifying as a gallop and then ended up or a sprint at 6 and then ended up crushing it in the gallop. And it was like we were going to get there anyway, so there was no point in not trying it. And so now I'm trying to be a little bit more distance permissive, or whatever the word would be. Anyway, good talk. Who else do we? So yeah, Commandant sold 13 last season.
There's 3 of ours, so yeah, so 10.
So 10.
I wouldn't be. I mean, he's still in there at minimum. I wouldn't be surprised if he sells out this season with these results, right? Like, because you're seeing too. Okay, throw that right dirt one out of the picture, but every left horse had no less than 2 stars. We didn't on the left, like we didn't really. Oh, okay, actually, there's the 1.5 there, but that's still a decent star roll on that horse overall. Like, so.
That was a bad roll on the left for
sure. Yeah,
but
so basically one bad roll on stars out of 13, and just in one area where I think it's a good roll, if you ask me, on the dirt and firm, probably, kind of thing. So,
well, and I think more importantly is just it's popping out SS minuses. I think so. Based on so what I was about to ask you earlier was based on the amount of covers we sold last season. Is that changing our plans to use Commandant more?
We're probably going to use him a couple more times, but I think that's just because we have more matches now for him, like that hit the barn. So there's a little, and also like, it's like, oh, we were breeding that one with this other one this season, last season, but now, we're moving on with him. So I think we have a couple, I think we're doing like 4 or 5. I'm actually, okay with trying to breed him with some of our LDS stuff this season. I'm taking a couple of chances with that. We'll punt wherever, but there are horses that have the 3-star left that could potentially, really hit for us somewhere, and like we're okay with the preference landing in the middle or whatever, not necessarily playing it for LDF or LDS necessarily. We're just playing to improve that and kind of create, like, keep creating this diversity across the stable. Occasionally you have to do that, right? You have to breed it to something. When, this happened earlier in the game where as everybody got up to S+ in the early days with the Gen 2s, Gen 3s, the mix, but all of a sudden everybody ran out of like good horses to breed with. It was almost impossible to find something that you weren't inbreeding with unless you went to a different area and introduced completely new blood kind of thing. So
yeah, so
that's why a lot of the early SS- horses in this game had bad stars.
Yeah,
because you were having to Frankenstein them from like a right dirt, a right turf, a left dirt.
Now, are there do we? I was just thinking out loud now. So then, with someone like Commandant, are we looking to maybe even dip into S to find 3-star horses?
Yeah. And we've we're trying to do that. It just, we don't have it. Like we don't have the matches for him. So
-110 had a kid named Pick 3. That's the beginning of the riddle. Don't know if that's the end of the riddle too. All right, we can figure that one offline. Any other or who else do you want? Well, I'm not even going to ask you. I'm just going to show him. He's ready to gig. Kentucky Derby champion. How would you say we are feeling about his children so far? Solid results.
yeah, I mean, not too high. I'm not too low. There's been some good ones. There's been some stuff I thought would be better. So I try not to get too excited on these until they actually get to a major or something. Like I've learned.
Yeah, I would say we have 2 that will be 2.5 right now at the 3-year-old age that are going to be competing for that have qualification points.
But I'll say this, just as a star enthusiast, we've gotten a lot of good star rolls off his kids, and that's important. So that's a good sign, just in general, of like, hey, that shows me he's worth paying the price for, right? He's worth using, because we're not getting a lot of bad stars out of his kids. We've bred him with some bad star horses too. So.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, couple 5, 5.5, 6, 5.5, 5. Nice stuff.
Yeah. So,
and also in at the minimum.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, no, and I mean, we talked about Roman Surprise, but
well, let's bring him up. That's a great point.
I do think Commandant really is like, you want to hit one of our suds, that's probably the one you want to be hitting. Like,
here's Roman Surprise. Also a pretty nice profile here.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say with him. It's like he checks so many boxes. He won a high court, right? He was competitive as a 5-year-old even, right? So I mean, so we know there's a decent aging curve here. You find that right speed finish combo to get in there with him, and all of a sudden his stamina and heart can really lift some bloodlines up. So
yeah, I mean, the aging curve, we kind of talked about this when we retired him. I'm not so sure he was done.
Yeah.
Like this is a pretty nice, and what's interesting about this is he had success as a 2-year-old.
Yep.
On track, and
yeah,
so
where you won a Kingmaker when they used to have those. Now the thing is, though, too, one reason, like, this is where it gets weird, where you want to retire him. Where we probably could have kept having success with them, but like at the same time, do we want to keep doing like black jam breeds instead?
No, that's exactly.
Yeah.
It upgraded us, so we had to, at some point, we had to make the decision. And like you said, high court champion. Which, what are we saying? That's a half a major.
Yeah, it's a 4-year-old championship. Hey, it's not the big 3-year-old stuff. I get it, but hey, it's not nothing.
I mean, 96K Derby. We won it when it was big dollars. I think the purse has dropped down a little bit now.
Yeah,
so.
Dude, that was a $1,200 win, dude. I don't care what you call it. It's a $1,200 win.
So yeah, I mean, this was probably one of our longest careered horses in terms of like being good for a long time. Like you can see the wins, not a ton of wins, but just was always there.
Yeah.
All right. That's probably a good spot. Any other that's probably like you said, if you're breeding with us, those are probably the ones.
Yeah, and like, look, we showed you a Kentucky Derby winner, a high court winner, a 3rd place, SS minus in the Gallop. Like, you're looking for pedigree. You're looking for a horse. You want to check a lot of boxes. The more boxes you check when you're looking for these breeds, the better chance you have on hitting something. And right now, there's so many good horses, like he's ready to gig, that have won a major with good stars that are in there at the minimum. And so in a lot of cases, I think it's silly for people that just keep wanting to pay for the best no matter what, where it's like, you might not have the right, even though it's technically a blood match, it might not be the best match. You're to me, if we're going to fire with the most expensive studs in the game, I'm down to do it, but to me, it's got to be something I think that we're going to get one of the best horses out of the game with, you know?
Agreed. Is there let's just say someone's on the turf side. Do we have a turf stud you would highlight in our stable?
Brunson Burner probably would be one that I think we've had some pretty good results recently with some of his kids. It's mostly like in the allowance stuff, so like it's kind of hard to tell, but he has the weak heart, so doesn't look the greatest on the surface, but he's got finish, he's got temper, he's got stars. He's produced some decent stuff for us so far. But once again, our left turf side is still so far behind the rest. Like, but
we're in a couple of seasons, that's gonna look very different with those SS minus.
Yeah. We're gonna, that's what I'm trying to build us for that moment, because then we can really kind of let our wings fly at that point.
I wonder if
wings.
I wonder if anyone's going to see beautiful Dallas Sucks in there and say, you know what, I'd like to have this coat in my stable at a very cheap price.
And goddamn winner, if you're looking to compete, for these allowance stuff at the lower levels, getting these great S minus, horses in bloodlines in there is I think the way to do it, right? Find these, dude, you can find a bunch of cheap S minus mares, pound a bunch with a good horse like this with high stars with a high temper and start. And there's all kinds of outcomes that can work your favor here.
This was a fun horse to race. Yeah. I mean,
26 wins and 73 starts. I mean, you can't really, but
and you get this coat
in the past at the same time, dude. So.
And you get this coat. Come on, if you don't have this coat in your stable, come check it out. All right, that will do it. Anything else you want to get to before we get out of here?
Nope, I think we got to it all.
All right, post on X.
We had a good holiday.
Yeah,
and fucking let's cash some bets for this.
All right,
weekend.
Here's what everyone needs to do. One, if you're not in the game yet, sign up for the game. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/PFL. Use the code SGPN. Get you into Turf Club. Turf Club will have the Turf Classic next week, week 3 of the season, and the Dirt Classic on the same day as Derby Day, that Saturday. What else do you need to do? Post a picture of your Thanksgiving spread, tag myself, tag Bowser, tag at SGPN Stables. We will be giving away horses.
You know what? I thought of a great way we give away the horses too. They show a screenshot of them betting on those races, so we can juice the pots.
Let's fucking go. So send us your spread. If it makes us hungry,
send us your spread.
We get you a horse, assuming you're betting on the races. No funny business.
Yeah, bet on the races, guys. We want to juice those pots for the SGPN races. So it shows that people are enjoying these as much as we are.
That's actually a great point. That's a great promotion for we'll do something for anyone who bets $10 on the SGPN race. That's what we'll do.
Yep.
All right. So do that. Post the pictures of the food. Make us hungry. We'll give out horses, and come back next week when we will have the Turf Classic. If you're in the Turf Club because you signed up using the code SGPN, you will get an email letting you know when the race is ready. For anyone else, if you want to get in the race, let me know. Hit me up at Kramercentric on X. I'm in the Discord too, although I'm slow to DMs there. Bowser is also very slow to respond. But
yeah, it can be tough for me on the Discord because I'll usually only jump in when there's like an emergency and just try and see what's going on. So I apologize if you tried to hit me up on there, but I'm pretty good about getting back to people on X. So.
All right, Bowser, good show. Hope you had a good holiday. We'll see everyone next week. For Scott, for myself, for the SGPN stable crew of horsemen and miners, we are the season 29 Kentucky Derby champions. Howdy.
back at the Derby spot. Virtual Kentucky running live on the stream. 3 big races, 30 large in the dream.
10 grand heat after heat in the glow.